now, here's Tacy.
Well, hello.
Hello.
I have one very quick story
Okay, sounds
sent
good.
to me by Scott. And it's how researchers find that superpowers are real. They're just not what we expect. And scientists have found that evolutionary adaptation and mental conditioning in humans may be the closest humans will come to what we consider superpowers. And it gives two really
Until
cool
we augment our genetics somehow.
examples. So the first one, hold on.
No.
Oh, these are good. These are good. It's worth the wait. It's worth the wait.
Okay. Let's see. What are the
fucking idiot.
Oh, that wasn't the one I meant to.
You get nothing.
like the Sherpa people in the Himalayas
Okay.
to the Baju Sea nomads? So, the Tibetan tribe's resilience. Okay, they found out that. Oh, crap. We should start this over. That their ability to withstand low oxygen levels, like they can maintain low levels of red blood cells relying on cells' mitochondria to process oxygen in a way that doesn't require as much power or energy.
Interesting. Who are these? That's the Sherpas?
That's
The
the
Sherpas,
Sherpa
yeah.
people.
in the Himalayas.
Yep.
Now, do they have high levels of red blood cells or low? I would think that they would have high.
I think
Okay,
I
so
think
it
they've made
says
higher.
when an average person experiences a drop in oxygen as they climb in altitude, the human body tends to overcompensate by producing more oxygen-carrying red blood
Oh,
cells.
I see. So they do it without doing that.
So overproducing red blood cells leads the blood to thicken and can
Correct.
potentially cause altitude sickness or death. So the Sherpa's ability to produce fewer red blood cells isn't impacted by their external environment,
Wow.
and their bodies can produce less no matter what altitude they're at.
Isn't that
That's
crazy?
adaptation.
Yeah, those dudes are living at 10, 12, 14,000 feet.
crazy.
Living there.
Yeah. I
Shit.
went there once and about killed me.
I at 9,000. Like we were in Breckenridge. I spoke at a conference there, and I was like, God, I was about to die for 3 days.
Yeah,
That's 9,000 feet.
I was at Snowbird at the top. I think is 11,000 feet, maybe if I remember correctly. And I've told this story too. I mean, I think I've told every story. I mean, after 20 years of doing this, well, how many stories do I have left? But I went up there with this little snow bunny, and she's like, "Well, I don't really know how to ski, and will you go up with me?" And she was at the same conference. We were at a it doesn't matter. We were at a conference together. And so we get up to the top of this, and I see it's double black diamond. And I'm like, uh-oh.
Ski rack one.
And I'm like, I'm going to be in trouble. She's really going to be in trouble. She went, okay, see it at the bottom. She's lying little piece of shit. I get up. I'm about waist high in powder. Now, I grew up skiing in Michigan.
Yeah.
We didn't have a lot of powder like that. And I wasn't used to it. And so I got up to there, and I couldn't move. And I couldn't get my skis up, and I couldn't breathe. And I said, I'm just going to die here.
Oh, jeez.
So obviously I didn't in this universe. There may be a universe where I actually died at the top of that hill, but I, eventually unhooked my skis, rolled over onto the snow so that my surface area was a little bit larger so that I could lay on it. And then I reached down and grabbed my skis because I had rented them, but I didn't want to pay for them, and just sort of slid down the hill till I got to a place where I could start skiing on my own. That was awful. So, yeah, it's bad.
I heard about these monks that can change their breathing to melt snow. So if they were trapped in an avalanche, they could just breathe a certain way and just melt the snow around
I'd
them.
like
Does
to
that make
see
sense?
some evidence of that. So what they would have to be doing is increasing the chemical energy in their body to increase their core temperature. And I would love to see documentation of that.
I think I
whether
know what
that's
she's
true.
talking about because I think I've seen the same things. They'll actually take those monks while they're meditating and lay frozen towels over them.
Oh, I see.
And they literally sit there and breathe until those towels just literally start to kind of steam and they melt.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I saw
I'm
photos.
not saying it was science. I'm not saying it's
No,
scientific, but I'm saying
Well,
I think
that would happen.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
their
Overtime, yeah.
superpower there is not being super hot, but rather being able to sit there
Yeah. And
with
letting
a
your-
frozen towel
your
on
body
them until it
temperature get over,
melts.
yeah.
But I've seen photos where they will sit on the snow, and then after so much time, a circle will melt around them.
This one I doubt, but I have an open mind. I'm willing to be convinced that I'm wrong, but that sounds like hooty-hoot.
It sounds like a semi superpower.
Maybe just good Photoshop.
Yeah, maybe. That sounds
Could
awesome,
be.
though.
Yep.
One other ethnic group,
I have a superpower. I can put everybody to sleep just by talking.
the Baja. Is that how you told me to say it?
I
The
don't know, Baja or something.
Bajau, people of the Philippines, Malaysia. They can notably dive deep into the ocean for longer periods than most humans with no scuba gear necessary.
Yeah, it's amazing.
They can stay underwater for 13 minutes diving to depths up to
God.
230 feet.
It's crazy. Now, this is
13 minutes.
This is the mammalian diving reflex. All mammals have this, but only really whales and dolphins use it and manatees use it on a regular basis.
They have larger spleens, which can restore
Damn right they do.
a reserve of oxygenated red blood cells that can be injected into the
It's
bloodstream
crazy.
when the organ contracts as the person dives.
Wow, I think I do good, 2 minutes holding my breath. 13 minutes, can you imagine?
God, I can't even. Well, it's not even just the depth, but the time. But you going that deep, knowing that you've got to get back up, and you
Right.
can only go so fast. You get the bends,
Right.
So it's not like you can scramble up super fast and then die on your way up.
Well, they get the bends if you're breathing nitrogenated or oxygen, right? If you're scuba diving, if you're just holding your breath and you come back up, well, you still get the bends?
I don't know, Steve. That's a
I
good
think
question.
you still have to take breaks if it's just you, no oxygen. I think you still have
Okay.
to
I
acclimate.
think, yeah, I think.
Deepest dive by a human is 1,752 feet. Achieved by Comex Hydra 8 dives. Oh, wait a minute. I want to know deepest dive by a human without,
Unassisted, yeah, unassisted,
without
yeah.
oxygen.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Hang on. That was stupid. Okay, this is what I thought it was. French free diver Arnaud Giral holds the world record for deepest dive without oxygen, reaching 400 feet. Took 3 minutes and 34 seconds. And, yeah, wow. Okay. Diving to such great depths without scuba gear is incredibly dangerous, requires years of training and experience. Now, I'm going to try it today. But anyway,
There's one more.
that's amazing.
Oh, one more.
One more
One more
superhero
superpower. Yep.
power. And this is from rock climber Alex Honnold, who has famously undergone some of the most dangerous free solo of America's biggest cliffs. They did an MRI scan on him, and it indicated that his brain may process fear differently than the average person, as he was shown graphic images used to trigger amygdala, a structure in the temporal
I'm
lobe
going to get
responsible
Scott to
for
repeat what he just tried to say.
producing reactions to fear. Honnold's amygdala didn't respond. It was notably silent.
Wow.
Did you see the movie with him where he climbs those rocks?
No,
You got to watch it.
that's good.
It's
I've heard
the
that.
most ridiculous.
I'm not
Rain's
watching
seen it.
that.
It's crazy.
No, it is the craziest thing I've ever seen.
I'm
in my
not
life.
watching it. I just watched a guy free climb something, and he's just doom, 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 like.
There's a guy that does it on skyscrapers in
Yeah.
big cities.
Yeah.
So you'll just be at work, you're on like the 80th floor, and then you look at the window, and there's just some guy
Yeah.
just barehanding his way up the side of the
You know,
building.
Carl Wallenda was well trained and, expired doing that. And some tragedy is going to happen. I wonder if it doesn't happen.
Most of them die like that. All of the
Really?
like free solo, and there's also slacklining, like highlining, where you just tie a rope like over a canyon,
Right.
And people
Or
will do
between
that.
or between two buildings.
Yeah, and people will do that with no support, and
Nope.
a lot of them die like that.
Wow.
Nope. Yeah,
Hey,
I'm sorry.
go ahead.
No,
Go ahead.
I'm just going. But the truth, in the movie, they actually show the scan of the guy's head, and his amygdala is
Really?
almost non-existent. I mean,
Oh,
literally
interesting.
he doesn't have one.
Yeah, okay.
So he
It's
doesn't
born
have any
that
fear.
way.
So like when we're sitting there watching him climb a rock, going, "What the hell?"
He's like,
He's
this
like,
is
Tuesday.
Tuesday.
Doesn't even. Yeah. Just keeps on trucking.
That's
bizarre.
okay. That's really interesting. I wonder what he was like as a kid. I bet he drove his parents crazy.
Oh, he was a hellion.
Oh yes.
Oh, Lord.
Now, I want to just talk about the free diving again because I found something. It says the body goes through several changes when free diving. The heartbeat slows by 25%, and experienced divers can reduce their heart rate to more than 50%. To cope with the pressure, the body allows vital organs to keep functioning properly by moving blood to the most important parts. This is known as peripheral vasoconstriction. People who listen to this show for a long time know about that. And it's fascinating. so we were talking about mammalian diving reflex. It's like, why do we have that? Whales do this when they dive down. That's how they can hold their breath for hours sometimes, I guess. As they go down, their heart rate slows and their metabolism slows, and they're able to function, but at a very low metabolic rate, so they don't have to get that oxygen back into their system. We have that. I have used the mammalian diving reflex in the hospital in the 80s before we had adenosine and other drugs. We would have people with a thing called supraventricular tachycardia, and these are people with really fast heartbeats that are caused from the top part of the heart.
Okay.
And we would, try different drugs and stuff like that. Well, one of the things that you can do is you take a big tub of ice water and you tell the person, you got to give them informed consent.
Sure.
And then you shove their face in the ice water and you hold it there as long as they can stand it. And when they come back up, their heart goes ding, 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 and then it goes ding, and then it stops, and then it starts beating normally again. It's crazy. But that's the mammalian diving reflex that's doing that. It's putting a tonic influence on the node of the heart that just says slow down because we're diving.
It stimulates
Why
the
do we
vagus.
have that?
I guess it stimulates the vagus. I guess
I
we
don't
want to assume,
know.
yeah.
There's so many things that go on.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
During the diving. But why do we have that? It means to me that this is that we at one point emerged from the ocean.
Had to have had something. You had to have
Why
something
would
like
we?
that.
Or
Yeah.
either that, or mammals are just made this way, and it just is by
So
chance
happens.
that whales and dolphins could use it for that, and manatees. But anyway, it's pretty interesting.